Alan Brock of Ground Your Divinity. Welcome, welcome. So today is day 41 of my meditation experience. Holy crap, 41 days. I did not think from the very beginning that I would. I knew one sense because I have a strong self-discipline, I would stick with it. But honestly, as I've said a couple of videos now, the first couple of days, I thought I was going to scrap the project. So for all you guys out there that are like, hey, I've thought about this meditation thing, I just don't have the time. The Buddha said, if you don't have time to meditate an hour a day, then you should meditate 2 hours a day. And I can tell you from personal experience, it all works out. I have an incredibly full life and didn't think that I had an hour a day, so I was like, you know what? 2 hours a day. There you go. And day 41 strong. I'm not saying there hadn't been some ups and downs, but there's growth in all of it. So recognize that when we choose something and we engage and we stick with it, it will bring up in our life whatever needs to be brought up so that we can transform into the amazing beings that we are here to be. It's those times when we say, oh, you know what, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to chill on the couch and kind of sit and do my thing and whatever, scroll through Facebook. Not that there's anything necessarily wrong with doing those things, but there's a point at which that kind of stuff takes over our life. And after a while, it's not all that useful, right? Doesn't really do much for us. So if we can, or even if that stuff is not your bag, and you've got all kinds, you're working 2 jobs and you got a family and everything else that's going on, and you're like, I just have absolutely no time. Trust me, there is something about engaging with the process of meditation that helps to create focus, to create an openness and expansiveness, an ability to handle multiple things going on in your life without getting lost in the surface, just staying grounded and present, that life shifts on its own, your inner being begins to open up, and you would be amazed at all the positive, wonderful benefits that happen. And just almost like I've heard this phrase before, as you begin to honor yourself, others honor you too. As you begin to honor your inner being and say, this is what I want to do, it's important, I'm going to start doing it, everything in your life externally that you thought was preventing you from doing it actually begins to flow in line with what you're doing. It's amazing. But I can tell you from personal experience now, like I said, I do have, thanks man, I do have a little bit of fatigue for sure. It is what it is. I chose this, I committed to it, and I'm going to do it. But yes, fairly soon I desire to go get some sleep. And yeah, some sort of Rocky music in the background, like Adrian, I can do it, kind of thing, might add to the ambiance. So yes, I highly recommend it, guys. For anybody out there, start your meditation practice. It makes a huge difference in everything else in your life. Something else too that has kind of come up to me as I've been doing this. Not only does it create Sure. I will get to that thought here momentarily. So the basic tips for meditation, and also, by the way, I prior to this scope, I have a day 41, day 42, whatever of my meditation experience. I've also started doing a meditation with you guys on scope daily as well, and for as of now, I see that continuing for a while. So it's not as much about the talking, but it is actually techniques and practices and things like that. So you missed it tonight. It was right before this. But my intention is to do that daily before I do this scope as well. So please follow me, and then feel free when you see that to jump on or catch the replay from before. The basic idea at first, if you're just beginning meditation, is to come down and come inside. And what I mean by that is come down, meaning come back down to your body. It's very easy for the mind to be distracted because we have so many things going on in life. For the mind to be distracted and running around all over the place. If you sit down, you're just trying, okay, I'm just going to breathe now. I'm going to meditate, okay. And your mind is like, what the hell is going on? Everything, tomorrow, yes, And it's very easy to, lose your focus. So if you can bring your mind back down, something simple like tapping your body. Now your focus is on your body, right? Or standing up and just bouncing around a little bit. Yeah, right on. Stand up, bounce around a little bit. Or we did a little bit of toe tapping earlier today, some knee bouncing stuff. There's all kinds of techniques. But the idea is something that you do consciously with your physical body. Get your iPod on, dance, groove a little bit. But not for anybody else, for yourself. Just play and connect with your body. Feel your body as you do it. And then when you sit down to breathe, it's much easier to go deep, to be relaxed, and to have your mind be focused. Distractions still surface, thoughts still surface, that's fine. But it's easier to be with them without them taking you off center. And then basic beginner meditation technique, just feel your breathing. Just feel the breath as it moves through your body, keeping a piece of your mind with the feelings in your body. Keeps it anchored in the present moment, in the here and now. It sometimes helps to cultivate or to count your breaths at the beginning. It helps to maintain focus, because when you have a task that you're playing with, it's easier for your mind to notice when you've gone off task. If we have nothing we're focusing on, then we don't really notice when we lose focus. But if your intention is, okay, I'm going to count my breaths and see how high I can get, then, 10, 11, 12, and then you're like, what's going on over there? Oh, shit, I lost count. But you're aware now, and so you start back over. 1, 2, 3, See if you can get to 30, 40, 50, 100. And if you can regularly be able to count to 100 breaths without losing your focus and without losing count, that is a very strong, high level of focus. Feeling each breath as you breathe. And then from there, it's much easier to play with other meditation techniques because you already have your ability to focus on a single point. And then, ideas of opening to feeling energy in your body, visualization stuff, playing with the energy in your energy field, or all kinds of other meditation techniques are much easier to open to because you've cultivated this sense of focus. So like I said, I would recommend starting there and then follow me and join on the meditation scopes that we do together. I hope that helps. If y'all have any other questions or thoughts, please feel free to chime in. I'm going to flow with another insight that has kind of come up to me as well about meditation, and then answer whatever you guys have got, and then sign off for the evening. So not only does meditation begin to open this spaciousness inside, if you haven't experienced it yet, it's hard to put into words. But just a presence and an underlying openness underneath our thoughts, underneath our emotions, underneath what we really typically believe is us, begins to awaken. And then all of the other stuff we thought was who we are is kind of riding on the surface. And so we don't get lost in it as much. It's like if all that exists is the surface, then we think that's us, and we get lost in the ups and downs and the rights and wrongs and the whims of the surface existence. As we sit and allow ourselves to be in this deep spaciousness begins to open, this deep presence, then this stuff doesn't really take our attention that much. And so we don't get lost in thoughts, we don't get lost in emotions, all those things nearly as much. Good question. At first, yes. But then as you begin to cultivate this sense of presence, it really begins to shift your entire experience of life and flows with you out into the world. Like anything else, practice is where you, hello, good to see you. Practice is where you cultivate the skills and you bring them out in the game. I mean, baseball, for example. You practice batting in the batting cages, right? You practice with the pitching machine, whatever, and you build your skills. You even, when you're on deck, you put the little weights on your bat. So you're swinging and you're practicing with the weights. You might have 2 or 3 bats to get used to, what it feels like with a heavier bat. And then you take all the weights off, get down to 1 bat, and you bring it out in the game. And because you practice so much and you have your skills, now your ability to handle the game becomes much, much easier. Same idea with meditation. Sitting and breathing and doing these things is building the skills. And then you take these skills and this spaciousness and let it flow into your life. Off and on, 10 or 15 years, much more focused the last, say, 4 or so. And then even that, thanks, brother, I appreciate it. And then honestly, like what I've been doing this 41 days, this 2 hours a day meditation, has been by far the most consistent and longest I've ever done it. Before that, it was like, okay, a few minutes here and there. Sometimes would be breathing meditation, sometimes a moving meditation. I had a lot of different things, sometimes through my yoga studio. But in terms of my own personal practice, consistently daily for a good chunk of time, this 41 days of 2 hours a day has been my first real massive exposure to it. And like I said, it has shifted my life in so many ways. I have had a number of different mentors. I attend a yoga studio called Body and Brain Yoga, BODY, the letter N, brain.com. It's a worldwide set of yoga studios that it's not just about surface yoga, like a lot of westernized yoga has become. It's really deep into its ancient Eastern roots. It's a tradition from Korea that has come over, and it's not just about the surface stuff, but also very deep into chakras, meditative stuff, different things like that. A gentleman by the name of Tao Semko, who runs Uma Tantra University and the Kundalini Awakening process. So TaoSemko. You can go to taosemko.com. You can go to umatantra.com, UMAATANTRA.com, or Kundalini Awakening process. It's all one word. Kundalini, KUNDALINI, and then awakeningprocess.com. Kundalini Awakening process is a thing that he and some other gentlemen have developed that is a safe and effective, consistent way to awaken the Kundalini energy flowing up through your body. And then Uma Tantra is his online university. You can do just a few videos. Good question. Hold that thought 1 second and I'll help you out. So you can do, and it goes into like tantric yoga, hatha yoga, and a bunch of other things that you can watch a few videos, or a 4-year or a 6-year online complete university program into energy awakening, different things like that. So he's been very valuable in my life. I've read a lot, watched a lot of videos, and all that being said too, the best teacher is personal experience, personal practice. Gather enough information outside to give you something to practice and to play with, and then build your own practice. That's the best way you're going to learn and gain experience. It's not just about the information that you get out there. So things to help with creativity. One of the best exercises, and it's a meditative thing, it's also a physical thing. Your second chakra is helping, cultivating energy in your second chakra helps to enhance creativity. Also with creativity, the more cool your computer is, so to speak, the more relaxed your brain is, the easier it is to be in that creative zone. What do you mean, where's it all at? You might have meant the different programs that I was talking about, or something else. Let me know and I can give you that information again. So, a great way to begin is start tapping like a little bit below your belly button. There's a major pressure point that ties into the energy system of your body and into your second chakra. And so you can tap that point with just make kind of loose, or make like firm fists, but keep your arms loose, and just tap that point, and then let your head move side to side. So the tapping of the point brings your, actually it can be very therapeutic and relaxing. Again, the idea is, at first it's a little funny. Um, Good question. Jesus is everywhere, you know, like all enlightened beings. There's a point where you at least my personal opinion, where you transcend the body and in spirit form. But anyway, that's a discussion for a later time if it comes back up. But anyway, for right now, the idea is kind of the more you do it and you can let go of any thoughts or emotion, just kind of be in the zone. It can be very therapeutic, relaxing, and refreshing. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. So tapping, and you can kind of move your hands in a circle. So you can tap the same spot as one hand comes up, the other hand comes down, and you tap in a circle. And like I said, just let your head move side to side, almost effortlessly. It's not really an intentional movement. It's more of just like a automatic, effortless thing. But in doing this, brings attention to your core, brings warmth down into your core. As your head moves, it releases and relaxes the tension in the neck, lets blood flow more freely. And it also creates, in Chinese medicine, something called Susing Huagong. Yes, I highly recommend it. If you do just a few minutes, right on. Yeah, I got this in Korea, actually. The tapping is, sure, absolutely. The tapping, the harder you can tap while still staying relaxed, the more effective it is. So stay, you don't want to like just go, that doesn't really do any good. Not really. Having personal experience, I smoked for years and years. I should tell you what, hang on 1 second on that thought. I will answer that question when we finish this train of thought, though. The tapping, like I said, just doesn't really accomplish the objective we're looking for. But definitely some strength in a relaxed way. Can really begin to cultivate a deep sense of presence, and can be very effective. A lot of thoughts, distraction, etc., happen because our mind is constantly running around outside at all the stuff going on. And as you know, with creativity, right on. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, there's something about the energy we cultivate in our being flows out from our body, and I have worked on cultivating kind of a sense of peace and calm, and so I'm glad that you feel that. And thank you all for the hearts very much. I appreciate it. True creativity comes from within and comes from the ability to release our thinking mind and see to the bottom of the lake, so to speak. And so the more we can bring our mind back down into our body, thanks, man, I appreciate it. The more we can bring our mind back down into our body, the more it helps to unlock real creativity. I'm still not, when you say, where's it all at? Where is what at? I'll happily answer the question, but I'm not quite sure what you mean. Or maybe you just mean, hey, man, where's it at? I don't know. That might be the case, too. But if there's something specific you're referring to, then please let me know. So, your mind wants to go where the strongest... You're welcome. And yes, you can. Absolutely you can. Just take starting. Just because you haven't done it in the past or you haven't been successful in the past, there's no such thing as failure except giving up. Just keep trying. All right, so what difficulties are you having? Okay, that's very understandable, very common at the beginning. So this idea that I'm talking about creating. So first of all, a moving meditation may be very helpful at first, and I'll go over one here momentarily. But helping with focus and this idea of creativity as well, and bringing your mind back into your body, the mind wants to go where the strongest stimulation is. For example, as we're listening to this right now, you're watching, my video, you're listening to my voice. If all of a sudden some massive explosion happened outside of your window, you're going to pay attention to the explosion, right? Okay. If some little gnat is buzzing around, you might notice it, you might not. Maybe you're tuned into what I'm doing. But if some loud crash happens, you're going to tune into that, right? The mind wants to go where the strongest stimulation is. So if we're used to being outside and focused out there, and or used to focusing on our thoughts, because we have this constantly running, we need to create a stronger stimulation than what is already going on somewhere else. And the most effective place is back down into our body. So the tapping stuff, that's understandable. The more you open to your deep inner being, the more that will begin to release. As you realize you are not your surface, a spaciousness begins to open inside, and a confidence and an ability to stand in your own ground, even when you're around other people. I have anxiety issues that I have been working through myself as well, and this really, really helps. Right on, brother. So the tapping, and please feel free, guys, if you're getting value in this, follow me. I follow back all my legit followers. I'll be on here regularly. And then hearts are always appreciated too, just to move up in the ranks so other people can see this and get value as well. So if you're having difficulty focus, like I said, bring your stimulation back down into your body. And just, tapping is great, standing, bouncing. This stuff is awesome. Put your iPod on and just kind of groove and dance for a little while. Not something too... Be conscious with that, because when you're listening to something, especially with heavy vocals, it still kind of keeps your focus up in your head because your brain is processing the words. More flowing music and more just kind of like, kind of grooving with something that's very light, low vocals might help. Earlier tonight, we did just a little bit of knee bouncing. Just sit down on the ground and just begin bouncing your knees like this. Is great to bring your attention back in your body. And the more intense you can make your movement while still staying relaxed, the more effective it is. So that's a few ideas. And then also just check in before this scope. I did a meditation. Right on, man. I will follow you back as well. I did just kind of a meditation experience with all the people out there in Scopeland. And so it's not just talking, it's actual practice and techniques. And my intention is to do that regularly as well. I've been doing it for the past 5 or 6 days so far. So as you follow, it's simply titled A Brief Meditation Together. When you see that scope, log on and just join us. And there's something about being in a community of other people that are doing the same thing that makes it easier. As far as inability to focus too, and the want to move around, sometimes we have because our thoughts are up and around and anxious, our body wants to get around and move as well. That's fine. Then if that's the case, roll with it. So 2 things that really help. If you want some kind of a moving meditation to cultivate focus, bring your attention back in your body, standing and bouncing. So feet shoulder width. You just kind of begin, just be loose and bounce. Let go of any right or wrong or good or bad or whatever. Just keep your feet grounded and just let your body be loose and bounce. Looks funny, very effective. If you set a timer and do that for, say, 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes, you'll be amazed how much more in your body and chill you are. Absolutely it can. Absolutely meditation can bring physical healing. All physical What makes me follow? The benefits I receive, brother, as I open up um, and cultivate this sense of peace and presence. It just, I mean, why would I not want to? You know. And then another gentleman asked a question right before that that I was about to answer, and I apologize. It's late. I just had a brain fart and it went right out of my head. So if you would please type that question back in, I'm happy to answer it for you. Or you may have left. I don't know. Um, oh, physical healing. That's what it was. Yes, meditation does absolutely bring physical healing. I believe that all physical disease comes from an energetic imbalance in the body, or tension and things like that come from stress. And as we begin to open to meditation, cultivate this sense of peace and presence, um, underneath it's kind of like a resting place, so to speak. Stress releases and reduces. Our energy system in our body begins to work more effectively, which then flows out into physical manifestation and physical healing. There's all kinds of extra stuff behind that as well, in terms of emotions being stuck into the body that create disease. And as you go deep, as you go deep with meditation, you can release old emotions, release old thoughts, all that kind of stuff. Um, but that's a discussion for a later time. So one other moving meditation, testimonials of meditation. Um, Offhand, I couldn't find. I couldn't say, "Oh, go to this website." But I guess two thoughts. One is if you Google benefits of meditation or testimonials of meditation, I'm sure you'll be able to find something. More than that, though, sir, what I would recommend is personal experience. Um, that's the best way. Prove it to yourself for yourself. And then once you begin to see the benefits, um, you will know. Not because of what anybody said, because what you feel inside. Um, so some beginning stuff. And by the way, please feel free to follow me. And what I've been doing in addition to this scope, where I kind of talk about ideas, theories, insights, etc. I've also been doing a brief meditation experience together. In fact, this one should still be on the replay, so feel free to catch it whenever this scope ends. Um, but the idea is do something to come back down in your body to help enhance focus. Tapping, knee bouncing, the shaking thing I was doing just a minute ago. I do all kinds of different stuff. But something to bring your attention into your body. And then that way, when you sit down to breathe, it's much, much easier to be focused and clear. And then it's easier for your inner being to kind of open up and not be, you're not distracted in your thoughts as much. Thoughts still come, emotions still come. That's okay. That's supposed to happen. It's part of the cleansing process. But it's easier to stay present in the face of all of that stuff. So yeah, please, brother, feel free to do that. Follow along, and just experience it for yourself. You will be amazed with consistency what begins to unfold inside of you. So, anybody else got any other thoughts or questions? You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I'm happy to serve. One day at a time, one step at a time, as we all awaken individually, we will begin to shift this world into one of health, happiness, peace, heaven on earth, harmony, that inside all of us know is possible, and all of us have this yearning for. That it starts with our individual choices, and as we take responsibility for ourselves, for our own space, for our own energy, and our own peace, and cultivate that, it just creates a ripple effect out of the world, and one step at a time, one person at a time, we will make a difference. Good question. Actually, somebody else brought that up earlier as well. To be totally honest with you, I go back and forth. Ultimately, no. Um, and it's that's not from like a just say no kind of perspective. I was a stoner for years and years and years. I am every now and again I smoke now, but like I haven't smoked in probably 6 months. You know, it's sometimes once a month, sometimes once a year at this point. But I went through the like 24/7, all day, every day for years and years and years smoking. Um, that is one of the things that originally opened me up to the idea that there was something behind the scenes, that this reality that we experience is on the surface and there's something else beyond. And I'm very grateful for that. There are times I've had some very, very deep spiritual experiences being high. That being said, there have also been a lot of times when I've gotten lost in my head, lost in my thoughts. Um, Anxieties come up, all kind of other stuff that actually begin to block my meditation or make it. I mean, it's like sometimes you can have a good high and you're in a nice, chill, peaceful place and you can go deep. Sometimes it just makes all of this stuff go more wonky, um, in which case it hinders the meditation. Plus, if we are used to getting high, meditating, and getting to a deep place, it can create a dependency that says, oh, I have to be high to meditate. And as soon as that happens, we are now attached to something in the outside world, as opposed to recognizing that all comes from within. I heard a great quote once that I like, and I might mess this up a little bit, but basically he said, meditation can help you to touch God, but it is not necessary. And I would also say from personal experience as well that when you are high and meditating, when the high goes away, you lose your effects, and so you're dependent on that. If you can cultivate it inside without, and I will say also from experience, I've had very, very deep meditative, enlightening experiences completely sober, and anything that you can get from weed. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Long time no see. As you can get very deep experiences and open up to everything. Right on, right on. Open up to everything stoned. You can get sober without any side effects and in a way that it doesn't release when the high goes away. So, kind of a long answer to that question. Um, so, right now, I'm in a meditation experience for myself where I'm doing 2 hours a day for 100 days to really shift myself. I was going through, I've been doing meditation for a while, and it's been off and on, and sometimes longer, sometimes a few minutes, sometimes longer, it kind of depends. But there was not any major consistency to it. This has been the first time that I have been massively consistent for this long of a time period, and it is making a huge, huge difference in my life. I think there was a part two to that question that I also seem to have forgotten. But yeah, basically right now, 2 hours a day for 100 days. Both. Do we develop love for someone or does it just happen? Good question. Both. Yeah, definitely. Blessings to you and a good night as well. Please feel free to follow me and catch whenever I'm on. And I hope it serves you in the future as well. So, yeah, love can be a funny thing. I would say both. I believe that you can instantly connect with somebody, and there's something about their deep inner being that resonates with your deep inner being. That just chemistry is felt and a connection is there that you can have upon meeting somebody. I do also feel that as you spend time with somebody and get to know who they are underneath all of the surface, not really that much anymore. No, I did a lot back in the day. Yeah, actually, you just missed a discussion on weed meditation just a few minutes ago. So feel free to catch this replay and zoom ahead to it. I couldn't tell you exactly what the time is because I don't know exactly when I started, but yeah, we just talked about that a couple minutes ago, actually. So, yeah, as you spend time with somebody and you begin to get to know who they are underneath the surface, a very deep love can develop. You can appreciate who they are as a being, and a very deep, strong love can begin to surface from that. Either way, what I would say is that true love comes from a deep awareness of the inner spirit, the inner being of a person, whether that is through a instant chemistry connection because you vibe with their inner being because it's very similar to yours, or whether that's through a prolonged process where you really get to know somebody's inside. The deepest love comes from recognizing their innerness. And I would also say that that ability to recognize that in somebody else comes with your ability to recognize it in yourself. So, others are beautiful and wonderful, and relationships are amazing in this life as tools for spiritual growth, as opportunities to share our awakenings, to share our completeness with another. Remember, relationships are not about completing us. They're about an opportunity to share our completeness with another. But all that being said, let your first relationship, your primary relationship, be within. As this begins to open and cultivate and you begin to develop your own connection with your soul or your spirit inside or whatever and develop that deep love, everything else externally flows from that and you can recognize it and connect more deeply with the people around you as well, because you have a deep connection inside. So that's what I would offer with that. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So, has anybody else got any other questions or thoughts? I'm happy to answer and serve how I can. Otherwise, I'm going to log off for the evening and do a couple other things and catch some Z's. Good evening. Cool. So again, if you guys have received value, hearts are always appreciated. Please follow me, and you can log on whenever I'm on. And if you want to connect, my email address is on my profile. I offer life and wellness coaching services. So connect with me, and we can set up a time, just a free hour and a half. Just sit down and talk about. We can do it in person, Skype, phone, whatever makes you happy. But just talk about who you are, where you are, what's important to you, what's in your way, and how to help you be the best you that you can be, totally for free. And then if we decide at that point to move further into some kind of coaching relationship, then awesome. If you've just gotten some value from that time, beautiful. So please feel free to connect. What's up, yo? How you doing? So yeah, feel free. It here in Houston, actually north of Houston a little bit, the Woodlands. That's probably not what you meant, but anyway, yeah, life is good. Where's it at with y'all? Hmm. Um, that is more of a an awakening in the higher aspects of self. I don't know if you're familiar with the idea of chakras at all. Shrooms can help, LSD, things like that. I highly recommend cultivating it without drugs, though. I've been on both paths. And anything you can get through drugs, you can get sober. And when you can get it sober, you're not dependent on the drug, and the effects don't go away when the drug goes away. No, I'm not. This is a yoga master uniform, though. I have achieved a certain rank in my yoga studio. Not a martial arts sensei, though. So yeah, the drugs can help. Um, um, Maybe there's a little bit of that inside, but for the most part, no, not really. Um, when I grow up, yeah, right on. So yeah, I recommend practicing sober as much as you can. There is something to be said for drug type stuff to induce an awareness of an existence beyond the scene or behind the scenes, and deeper levels of reality. But then, um, so my recommendation before worrying about practicing going to different realms, although that sounds really cool and it's really awesome, and it's like, oh, open your third eye and astral projection and lucid dreaming and all the cool stuff, and I totally get that. My first recommendation is to be present here and now first. If you can cultivate the ability to be grounded and present in your own body and in your own experience, it helps the higher aspects of being open more effectively. And when they do, yeah, brother, I got the juice. um, Not quite sure what that means, but so anyway, it helps to. I have no idea. It helps to open up the higher aspects of being with much love, though, with still staying grounded. If we try to open up the higher chakras and the higher levels of experience and the multidimensional stuff and the astral projection and all that kind of thing without any foundation, um, right on, man. Hey, welcome, y'all. Um, if we begin to do that without a foundation, it's easy to get lost. To We'll just say right now, it's easy to get lost, for lack of a better word, and to lose your foundation. Haha, I've never heard that one before. Um, so, I hope that helps. Um, so I tell you what, I'm going to log off for the evening. Uh, yeah, no worries. I'm about to log off anyway. Um, Although, thanks for the acknowledgement. But, no, they don't. So, Trent, I would recommend, brother, that you, through personal experience, maybe get some of the answers to your questions and help to open up and cultivate a sense of what this is all about. So feel free, in addition to this scope that I do, I have one before this where you're very welcome, where I do an actual practice of meditation techniques. It's not just about talking, it's about the actual experience of it. My intention is in the late morning, early afternoon area, is what I'd like to do regularly. Tomorrow I have students starting at 12:30 onwards. That's Central Time, by the way. So my intention is to be on before then. And I kind of like that late morning, early afternoon time. But then there are days like today. Right on. Love you too, man. Have a good night, and I will see you in the future. So yeah, like today was a full day, and so I'm here at 4 o'clock in the morning. Um, wow, didn't realize it was that late. So yes, I'm definitely about to sign off. But yeah, check me out. My intention's to be on, like I said, before noon Central Time tomorrow, but it may be another late evening. I kind of take it as it flows. But you can always catch the replay, um, and go from there. So much love to you, to everybody out there in Scopeland, whoever's watching this. Please feel free to email me if you'd like to connect further and change the world one person at a time, starting with yourself. So be blessed.